The Feast of Saint Priscilla. Saint Priscilla, also known as Prisca, is one of the most significant female leaders in the early church. She is almost always mentioned alongside her husband Aquila. However, in a break from cultural norm of the time, the Bible lists her name before her husband's in 4 of the 6 references, suggesting that she was the more prominent leader and teacher of the two. Priscilla and Aquila were Jewish Christians living in Rome until the Emperor Claudius expelled all Jews in 49 AD. They fled to Corinth, where they met St. Paul. Like St. Paul, they were tent makers by trade. Paul lived and worked in their home, and they likely used their workshop as a place to evangelize customers and travellers. When Paul left Corinth to spread the gospel, Priscilla and Aquila went with him. They moved to Ephesus, a major strategic city, to establish the church there, while Paul continued on to Syria. Wherever they lived, Corinth, Ephesus, and later back in Rome, they hosted a church in their house. In the early days of Christianity, before church buildings existed, these house churches were a centre of worship and community life. The most famous story involving Priscilla is found in Acts 18:24-26. A brilliant and eloquent preacher named Apollos arrived from Ephesus. He knew the scriptures well, but had incomplete knowledge of the Christian baptism, knowing only of the baptism of John the Baptist. Priscilla and Aquila took him aside privately and explained to him the way of God more accurately. This is a rare biblical example of a woman instructing a male leader in the theological, highlighting her deep knowledge and authority in the early church. Paul clearly viewed her as an equal partner in ministry, not just a helper.